Hello and welcome to the Rest is Football question and answer episode with me, Gary Lineker, Micah Richards and Alan Shearer. Once again, thank you so much for sending in your questions. Some belters this week, as is the norm these days, keeping us on our toes. Let's start with James Young. After Joselu's brace for Real Madrid in the Champions League, what was the biggest or best impact a substitute had in a game that you played in, either for your team or the opposition?
I must admit, I never saw that coming with Joselu when he was at Newcastle. Did anyone else? I mean, if anyone says yes, they're lying. Because
No.
I mean, even him at Newcastle, him at Stoke. But bloody hell, you got to give him some credit for going there and the goals and what have you that he scored, and the way he turned it around for them, it's incredible.
And Choupo-Moting as well. He was at Stoke.
Yeah.
Come on for Bayern, did he? It's mad. Wow.
I'm going to go. It didn't quite work out in the end, but it very nearly did. I'm going to go 1986 World Cup quarter-final, England-Argentina. Maradona's 2 goals, obviously the first one he punched in, and then he dribbled through and everything, and we were done and dusted. Bobby Robson brought on a certain John Barnes, and he turned their right back inside out, and he went jinky, crossed, I headed one in, and then he caused all sorts of turmoil, crossed another one, I thought I was going to score again, and somehow, I think it was a Lartica chair, came up and he hit the back of his head, and it didn't go in, but that was one time that you thought, God, if he'd have perhaps brought him on at half time, but it's easy after the event. But John Barnes was so good.
How good was he? John Barnes was an unbelievable player, man. He was brilliant, wasn't he? Dribbling with the ball and technique, and he was amazing.
He was beautiful football. Great guy as well. I love John. Great, real character. Smart, very intelligent.
Yeah.
Any substitute what about in the Aguero game? Was there a big one in that, Mikey? You should have come on. Obviously.
I should have. Of course, I should have come on. I think we have to mention Edin Dzeko and Balotelli as well. That combination. Obviously, Aguero gets all the plaudits, and rightly so. But without Balotelli's assist and without Dzeko scoring the goal to make it, was it 2-2? 2-2. That was amazing. And he was such an underrated player. He was good with his left foot, good with his right foot, could hold it up. He had absolutely everything. So, yeah, I'm going to go Dzeko. Dzeko and Balotelli.
Who was the super sub at Liverpool all the time?
David Fairclough.
David Fairclough, that's it, yeah. You remember him, Micah?
Fairclough.
David Fairclough.
I remember the name, but I don't remember him as a player, no.
Yeah, you wouldn't have been born. I remember him. Yeah. Came on regularly and scored
super
lots
sub,
of goals.
scored all the time,
Red hair, yeah.
More than Solskjaer?
Well, I think he probably just had a streaky spell, and
okay.
I wouldn't know the absolute numbers. Greg Gould, if you were a goal up in the semi-final of a cup and one of the other team were clear through on goal, would you commit a professional foul knowing that you'd be suspended for the final? How selfless were you as players? And what's the most selfless thing you ever saw a teammate do? Blimey. I wouldn't be that far back to commit a professional foul on someone going through. I don't think... I mean, it'd be a flash of the moment thing, wouldn't it, really? I think most players put themselves out for their teammates.
Of course you would. I'd rugby tackle him if I had to.
Yeah.
Without doubt. Yeah, no problem at all. Taking one for the team. It's not... The only problem is, though, we've seen like Champions League, where like all through the group stages and then the knockout bits, you might have played in them games. But then when it gets to the final, it's like if you weren't on the pitch or on the bench, it feels like you're non-existent to how they got there,
Yeah.
It's weird, that.
Unless you're John Terry and you just put the shirt on.
I wasn't going to mention it, but I had that in my mind.
That was brilliant. I've got one from Liam McDevitt. You might recognise that name. He direct messaged me with this question. He does quite a bit of reporting for the BBC, BBC Sport. Hi Gary, shameless Rest is Football question for a future Q&A. What level do you think you could each have played at in your opposing positions? Gary and Alan, centre halves. Micah as a forward. Loving the podcast. All the best. Thank you, Liam.
Oh my God, let me start with this. I'm telling you now. I'm telling you now. I'm not even joking. I could have been a top Premier League goal scorer. I'm getting minimum.
You come out with some fucking shit you do, by the way.
Well, why weren't you then?
Because he wanted to be a fullback instead.
Honestly, I had the pace, I had the strength, I had the skill, and I had the finishing also. I should have been a striker. I'm saying, without laughing, Premier League striker.
No, you'll be all right when you get some confidence, you know.
I think, Alan, you could have probably played at the back, couldn't you? You used to go back for corners and head them
so
like that. You're
easy,
near
centre
post
half,
thing.
so easy, centre
I think
half.
it's easy. You see the whole pitch.
Exactly.
You've got everything in front of you.
Whoa,
All you've got to do is, I think I'd have been like a Des Walker. Quite, quick. Just read the game. Never be on my arse.
No.
Except when I'm shitting myself. Oh dear. Yeah, I don't know. It always looked like a very easy game from the back. Playing with your back to goal, Al, you're getting whacked in the back and all that. Oh, it's so easy.
It's easy for a striker, though. Basically, defenders' body positions, you've got to look at the ball and you've got to look at the man. Even just like for corners now, we're seeing with Arsenal. So they're basically putting all their players to the back. And like when people go zonal, they don't know what to do. All you've got to do as a striker is run in the area, get a decent delivery, and tap it in. That's all you've got to worry about. Stay on side.
Is that all it is it?
No, I mean, come on. It's not that hard, is it?
I wonder why everyone doesn't do it then, because obviously, that's where you get the big bucks. Tony Bremner. I wonder if he's related to Billy Bremner. Remember Billy Bremner?
Yep.
Billy Bremner, yes.
Leeds United, legend.
Leeds.
Yeah. With the likes of Mainu and Wharton now being discussed for the England squad, why is it that Harvey Elliott doesn't seem to get a mention from anyone in the media? He's been brilliant for the under-21 side as well as Liverpool. Do the senior managers really look and pay attention to the junior sides, or is it all about how they play for their clubs?
No, he does. I think Southgate he was on the 21 manager and he brought players through the 21s, didn't he? So, yes. I think the reason why he's not been mentioned is because when he's played at times with Liverpool, he's been in an attacking position.
And we've
Flair,
got so much
and
now.
Cole, Palmer, Saka, Grealish. But, the list goes on, doesn't it? So that's the only reason. But his quality is there. I've talked to him many times on this podcast. I think he's fantastic.
I think Mainu and Wharton have been mentioned. I understand his point, but I think the reason Mainu and Wharton are mentioned is because that's an area, a holding player role where England are perhaps a little bit short.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with all of that, yeah.
Okay. Jonathan Bennett, a question for Alan. I had a disagreement with my 26-year-old son over who was better, Shearer or Kane. He argued that Kane was both a better all-round player and had a better goals per game ratio. I argued that Shearer was a better goal scorer and played against better defenders who could kick you from pillar to post. Could Alan put modesty aside? Fucking no chance. And help me argue the case for Shearer, please.
Jonathan, make sure your son listens to you because you're absolutely spot on. I mean, Kane's good, isn't he? But come on.
Oh, I'm choking.
What was that? Does he mention his boy's name there, Jonathan? What was his son's name?
Right, 26. No, he doesn't mention his son's name, but I think his son's showing good signs of superior football knowledge to his father. I think Kane wins on all fronts, really.
Oh, goodness me.
And I think also he's got the advantage that he's in his 30s and you're in your 50s, Al.
That is true.
Sean Rogers, with the Euros coming up, what was the best ever England football song? Did Gary and Alan enjoy having to get involved with team songs either for club or country? Also, should the tradition be revived? Who does Micah think will be the best singer from the current crop of players and steal the show like John Barnes? Well, I'm such a rubbish singer that actually when I'm probably the reason that it stopped in many ways, because when I became captain, and this was in 90, after the Italia 90, when Graham Taylor made me captain, they were talking about having a song for the Euros in 92, and I kind of, with the players committee, kiboshed the idea because they're so bloody embarrassing. I mean, the John Barnes one was great because it's basically a proper band, wasn't it? It wasn't like just footballers. But I had a couple of them in my career. So embarrassing with both England. I think in '86, I remember. I think did we go on Wogan or something? Honestly, it's the most. And I did the same with Everton. We did this song going for the cup final. Oh, it's so cringe, honestly. I wanted to die out there. Plus, I'm an absolutely shit singer. I've got no rhythm. And it was... I think I've got something in my head about the England squad, the England song. I can't remember which one it was. But we're on a TV, whether it was Wogan or I think it probably was. I've got a thing, we had like a setup with us all round and we were singing the song and there was like a gym and they were doing, Tony Adams I think was doing pull down. It was so bad.
I've seen it somewhere.
Have you seen that?
I've
seen it a few times, but I can't remember which particular. I think it was either 80. It must have been. Well, Tony Adams wasn't in. If it was Tony Adams, I'm thinking it wasn't. It must have been 88 then, probably. I don't know.
It was stiff. That video was stiff.
Beyond stiff. Whatever that is.
I won in '96 was a good one. One of the Three Lions. I mean, that was a good one. That one. We used to
go on, give us a bit then.
No thanks. We used to have that bashing on the bus on the.
Yeah, but that's not your song.
I know
is
that's
it?
not our song, but there was a few players got involved with the videos though, didn't they?
Yeah, well, Vindaloo was great as well, wasn't it, Vindaloo?
Yeah.
But he's not. I think this is talking about actual players' songs, actual football songs around tournaments, like that one that you said was really good. But I think when with players involved,
it's cringe, isn't it?
Did you ever do one, Micah?
Not a chance.
Really?
No,
I had you down on the mic. I thought you would have a bit, Micah.
No, I've got rhythm, and I can't sing though. No, I've not got the vocals. Not a chance. But I'll tell you who does of the current crop.
Oh, do you know?
Declan Rice.
Really?
Can he sing?
Well, I don't know if he can.
Oh, wasn't he on your show?
That's what I mean. He was on League of Their Own, and he started singing Rice Baby. Yeah, he's got it. He's got it. I'm telling you.
He's got a bit of something. He can play as well. Right. Okay. Liam Stevens. How do you think the commercialisation of football over the decades has impacted players? How difficult is it for young players to avoid all the distractions and not be taken advantage of? I mean, Mike, you might have a slightly different story, but certainly I think Alan and myself, to be commercialised, you need to reach a certain level. And certainly for me, that took quite a long time. So I think I was probably mature enough to deal with the commercial side of things because fame didn't really come until my mid-20s. Alan's a bit earlier, but do you know what I mean? You've got to get big deals, commercial deals, etc. You've got to be pretty successful, or someone like Micah that bursts onto the scene
and just takes everything he can get.
Oh my! It's solid though, isn't it? Because you've got brands throwing all sorts of stuff at you. You're trying to concentrate on your
body
football.
Lotion, Micah. Body lotion.
Speaking of that, what the hell? What's going on with that, Micah? We were sent this yesterday or this morning.
I sent it to you.
Yes.
My friend sent it to me.
You kept that one quiet, didn't you?
I'm going to get it here. I'm going to get it up here. Right, here it is. Where is it? Here it is. Right. I've got it here. The Guardian. In today's Observer. Here it is. I'm just going to read the interesting bit. Question, shower or bath? I hate baths. Sitting in dirty water. No thanks. I'll have a proper scrub in the shower with Laura Mercier body wash. Other body washes are available. And an old school bar of Dove soap. Then apply Kiehl's body lotion. It's imperative for the modern day man. It's all here. Here he is. That's him. Micah Richards. There you are.
What's that? I have a shower
Something
with did it
Micah
say?
Richards. Body lotion is imperative for the modern day man.
Oh, my God. Explain yourself, Richards.
I mean, I saw you on another commercial as well today. That
Which
I hadn't
one?
seen before. I can't remember. It wasn't the car.
WeBuyAnyCar.com.
Wasn't that one? There was another one. I mean,
Optimum Nutrition.
that was it. That was it. I mean, you're unbelievable.
If you need some protein, guys, just holler out.
Yeah.
No problems.
So do tell us.
What was that? What was the words? I love having a shower with what? Was that, Micah?
I got it here. Hang on. I love having... Right, here we go.
This is a
You got a sweat on. You're going to need a shower in a minute.
He didn't say I love having it. He went, I'll have a proper scrub in the shower with Laura Mercier body wash.
Who's she? Who's Laura?
I don't know, but she's suing.
Lucky Laura.
Fantastic.
Moving on swiftly, guys.
I can't even remember what the question was now, but who cares? No, keep the pressure on Big Meeks. Mike says, question for Big Meeks.
Oh.
If Borussia Dortmund win the Champions League, this is good, does that mean they're a better team without Haaland and Bellingham?
I'm being chastised today. Well, yes, they would be because they've won the Champions League.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yes.
Yeah. So they wouldn't want them back. Yeah. All right, got you. Reese, what do you think is the most unspoken about but biggest change for players between the club season and an international tournament? And why is that so important? I think the biggest difference between club football and international tournaments is that during a tournament, you don't go home.
Yeah.
Between games. You're stuck in a hotel. It's something that you never do as a club. You might get a tour, or you might have a European tie where you get a night or a couple of nights away, or an end of season tour, but that's, bit of not too intense. Mm-hmm. But a major tournament, you're together, you're in a bubble, aren't you? Protected bubble. You're just in your own company for what you want to be, at least a good 5-6 weeks.
Yep. No, it's a huge difference, isn't it?
Can I ask what that's like, though, guys? Obviously, I've done it with the 21s and I played for England, but I've never been to a major tournament from a country. What's it like being away for four weeks? Something like that, being just, I don't know, do you share rooms? What sort of atmosphere?
Did back then. I don't know whether they still do. I always shared with Peter Shilton. It's weird with Peter Shilton because Peter Shilton was my hero when I was like, my first game I ever saw Peter Shilton get played. I was 7 years old. I ended up rooming with him for England, and then at the end of my career I retired, and Peter Shilton was still playing. He's played until he was about 50. Yeah. But yeah, we used to room with players. I loved it. It was brilliant. I think it could be a little bit boring at times, but once the tournament starts, I always found the bit before it, the 2 weeks before, you're hanging around, you're waiting for the tournament to start. There's not much to do. Once the tournament starts, brilliant. You can watch all the games.
Yeah, it's great.
And you're loving watching the game. I was me and Peter Shilton were the bookies. Yeah. So I'd be the bookie, and everyone would have bets on the games, and we'd do the odds and all that kind of stuff. You make yourself a bit of entertainment. I remember getting stitched up as well. Me and Peter Shilton was stitched up completely. And Fred Street, the physio, I mentioned last week, who I saw recently. He used to bring in these horse racing tapes, and they were sealed, and they were like horse racing from like America or Europe that no one had seen.
Yep.
So that we'd have a night where me and Peter Shilton, Honest Links and Shilts, we called ourselves, were the bookies, and we put all the odds up and do each race, and about 8 races. So it turns out like Gazza and Waddle and Brian Robson had got into Fred Street, and they'd opened the videotape, and they'd watched the last race, the 8th race. So we doing what we do to do, and I used to know how to run a book because I did it when I was really young at Leicester races and stuff, and I know how to work the odds and stuff. So I was doing the odds, and what happens is all the lightweights came in, have their little bets on, so. Therefore, this horse that they knew about, no one had had any money on, so it drifted out to about, I don't know, 10, 12 to 1. Got slashing the odds for 8, 10, 12. And then in came the heavyweights, didn't they? Big bets, Brian Robson, Gaz, or whoever it was. Well, we start watching, and I thought, this stinks a bit. This is a bit weird. What's going on here? And the race starts, and it going on, and as it gets towards the final bend, that everyone in the room is cheering this horse on, even the ones who have not backed it, so we know what's going. And this horse steams by everybody, and they're all going. And Schultz's face, he was like, we've been completely shafted. And this is absolutely true, the whole squad, apart from Shilton and me, did the conga around the swimming pool about 20 times. It was unbelievable.
Brilliant.
So you do make your own fun.
Brilliant. What are the odds of Micah having a shower with Laura or whatever her name is tonight?
What else you giving me, Gav?
I'll give you 6 to 1. 6 to 1. I've had a word with Laura. She's not interested. Last question. Mayuresh. Hello, guys, and namaste from India. Namaste. I have a question for Alan and also one for Big Meeks. Alan, who was the naughtiest player in your club dressing rooms? And can you share a couple of incidents? Well, I know the answer to that one. That's Gaza.
Yeah.
Big Meeks, which opponent embarrassed you the most in your playing career? And are there any instances in particular that stick out? Also, being a Gooner, I urge you to follow your heart and declare your unwavering support for Arsenal.
Go on, Micah. Do it.
I can't do that.
I think we know that, don't we? Gaza and Balotelli.
Yeah, it's got to be, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Got to be.
Yeah. Give us a Gaza story. Come on.
What, with a deep heat or cutting your socks or anything like that?
Yeah.
It was, wasn't it? I mean, just childish little things, yeah.
Yeah.
A deep heat, when you used to when you come back in, one of the lads has got deep heat in their pants, and you can just look over and see Gaza's shoulders like rocking in the corner because he's laughing his head off because the player's starting to scratch his nuts, and you can feel him getting a little bit hotter and hotter, and you look over and thought, you fucking dick. You've done me a beauty here. Not
as good as Micah's body lotion, but was it Mario? Got to be Balotelli, would it be?
Yeah, I'd say Mario. Yeah. He's
have to be. On that firework, we'll conclude our question and answer episode. Thanks again for sending your questions, much appreciated. We'll be back on Friday. See you then. Goodbye for now.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.